Hey friends, welcome to episode 8 of Aquarius Truly, starring me, Lisette Serrano, your fabulous, fabulous host. Y'all, I was a little under the weather this weekend. I'm not really sure what happened there. I honestly think that it was because I decided to go outside without a mask and stay there for an hour. As we know, I do live in LA. I live in West Hollywood. So not super close to the Palisades fire or the Eaton fire. We're sort of like in the middle. If I had a map for y'all, I would show you how we are literally in Satan's ass. Thankfully, containment for the fires has been very good, very nice. It's been slaying. But unfortunately, there is still smoke. Our mayor said that he advises people to still wear their masks outside because even though the air quality is not bad, there still might be some microscopic ash in the air. So that's so yummy. We love inhaling ash, especially from really old buildings, considering a lot of the houses in the Palisades fire that burned down were built several years ago and they have toxins in them that our bodies are just not used to anymore. Some science for y'all. So we love inhaling that and feeling sick. Not very cutesy, not very demure, but it's the world that we live in. It's the climate crisis after all. If y'all want to refer back to episode 6 where we discussed the climate crisis. My hair is natural today. I always talk to you guys expecting that most of you guys are coming from YouTube. I'm not really sure. I think most of you guys watch on YouTube, but if you're just listening, I do have my natural hair today because I was sick and I didn't have it in me to blow dry. I love a blow dried look, like I truly do. I love just using my thermal brush and just having that bouncy, wavy, that salon look is what I'm trying to say. I love having that. However, because I have so much hair, it takes 9 years to do. I also set off my smoke alarm pretty much every time that I blow dry my hair. So that is so much fun. And that is just the reality of having super curly, thick hair. But yeah, she's natural today. She's half up, half down because it's day 3. So we got to give her a little refresher, a little co-wash tomorrow because I have something really exciting happening tomorrow that I will fill y'all in on probably by the next episode. But stay tuned for that. I've really been trying to be more consistent with my routines this year. I'm always good at building healthy habits. The issue that I have is consistency with them. I'll always get bored and then I'll find myself scrolling on social media for way too long. And then I'm like, this isn't really the vibe. This is not really being productive. And I'm a Virgo moon, so I love being productive. I love doing things. Rest is also very important, but I think that it's important to have effective rest. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. For those of you guys that don't know, I was talking to my friend about this on FaceTime because she said that she didn't answer, or I didn't answer her FaceTime call. So what she did was what she did was play my podcast, and it was sort of having me on the line just talking, because that's literally what this podcast is I just turn on my microphone and I just talk. I don't plan out. I plan when I'm gonna film, but I don't plan what I'm gonna film for the most part. I think at first it was like that, but now I'm just kind of I just turn on the mic and then I just start talking. But I'm the tangent queen, so it honestly works out in my favor. I don't know. But if this podcast becomes a hit, y'all are probably going to kill me because it's she didn't even play anything. And I'm but the people love to hear my voice. So I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But I want to talk about effective rest versus non-effective rest, but what is sometimes necessary rest, which in this day and age we refer to as rotting, which is kind of what I did while I was sick, but I kind of needed to have that just because I think occasionally your body does need a good rot. The issue is making rotting a habit, which I think I struggled with back in 2020. I would just like literally rot. Obviously, there was a pandemic. Like at the beginning, I was doing that a lot, but then I started making content. I started being like, okay, we're gonna rest our body. Yes, we're gonna do all these fabulous things. Yes, to rest. However, we are not just gonna like watch Netflix all day and not be productive. But I give myself a break because like I was like 19, but these past 2 days, it was actually kind of nice because it was raining. This is so odd for me to say because I actually am the rain's biggest hater. I never understood when people would be like, the rain is so peaceful and like I slept so well because of the rain. I literally always hated the rain, but it wasn't until that I was away from it for so long and it's all that Los Angeles needed, like for the longest because of the fires, that I appreciated it. And I literally had the most peaceful restful night of my life, y'all. Like the rain was there. I didn't even have to like put on a show. Like I literally was just like so present and so happy and so at peace because of this rain. And it was really good to have that night. It sucked that I was like sick-ish. I wasn't sick where my body aches, which is why I probably think it is the ash. I just felt it like sort of like here in my nose. Like it kind of felt like a sinus infection, but like not in my sinuses, just like at the top of my nose. And I was like, what the fuck? Like just move down. Like why are you just sitting up here? It was so uncomfortable. I mean, at least I could still smell and like eat and like it was fine, but it was just like annoying to have. And my throat was really sore. So it was just like all those things together. So I needed to like rest and I literally like slept all weekend. And I had plans to like go out, but I told my friends, I was like, y'all, I gotta stay in. Like I am not feeling well. Like I need to rest my body. And I'm honestly glad that I got that rest in because it was very, very, very needed. I feel very well rested this week, and like I said, I have something tomorrow that's exciting, so I really do need my rest. I really needed my rest that weekend. So it was nice to have that and like come back to everything and come back to be prepared to work and be prepared to be productive this week and to be on top of it with the content, because I really am trying to like edit more. I feel like my vlogs for the most part have felt very much like I'm filming and just like sort of keeping the clips together, not really editing it really, like just sort of like doing a little tweak here and there. But now I'm like, let's add some filters, let's experiment a little bit and let's do all of these fabulous things to just attract more viewers, because I really do want to hit 100K on TikTok this year. And I think it can happen, honestly. I've been like growing more than I've been growing like in the past 2 years. I think because of my Glee content. You guys are literally freaks for that, but whatever. But yeah, I think it is gonna be possible to achieve that. I'm excited to achieve that. It's on my vision board. It's gonna happen. And honestly, my vision boards are very accurate, have been at least for like the past 2 years when I first started like being intentional with them. So I think I really have a good feeling about it. Some like my vision board last year, I put shit that I did not expect to happen, honestly. I literally put that I was going to move to LA. I was fully in a long-term relationship at the time, and it just wasn't in the cards financially for me. I had no idea how I was going to do it. And then literally the opportunity presented itself, and here I am. Like, it was shit like that I had not expected to happen, but did. So everything that happened on my vision board, except for hitting a 1 year with my ex. And that was literally a blessing in disguise, because, girl, that would have been bad. But that's why I feel very hopeful. But back to the topic at hand, effective rest. So to me, effective rest is not scrolling on your phone and just like being on TikTok all day. Sometimes that's fun and sometimes it's necessary, but people forget it really does affect your brain when you're consuming so much media at once. It affects your attention span very greatly. There's real science behind this actually. And I always wish I'm going to try to like do fact checks before filming just because I want to have like the actual stats behind what I'm saying because there is evidence behind it. I just don't have the numbers for y'all. I know not everybody cares about it, but me, I'm like, girl, what are the percentages? What are the numbers? That's literally both my parents being very like logistical, earth signs, like what are the facts? What are the evidence? You know what I mean? But TikTok, I think this wouldn't come to a surprise to anyone. I did mention this in a previous episode, just saying that when you're scrolling so much on it, your brain isn't really processing what you're scrolling because it moves so fast and because of the accuracy of the algorithm. You're consuming so much at once that is like relative to you. And you probably are watching, if you're on TikTok all day, you might be consuming maybe like hundreds of videos in a sitting because they're so short and because they get to the point and because people talk very fast on TikTok and there's the TikTok voice and you announce your words in a certain way. So when you're scrolling through that all day, it's not giving you the proper amount of time that you as a human need to process it. It's different from like YouTube where you have to actually like sit down and like pay attention. But that's sort of why we're in the issue that we're in now where people don't have an attention span to save their life. It's because of TikTok, because it's literally like fast scrolling and you're just getting so much information. Like, because you are consuming probably hundreds of videos a day, how many of those videos do you think you actually remember throughout the day? You guys are probably like, I saw this fun TikTok. Or like, picture when you tell your friend about a TikTok you saw that day. You're naming one TikTok out of the hundreds that you saw that day. So clearly you're not remembering every single thing. But if you see that video, if you see one of those videos, you'll probably remember it more times than not. But it'll take a sec to remember that you watched it. Just because of how fast it moves and how fast the algorithm moves. Which is why it's not really restful because your brain is working extra hard to try to like process to a certain extent, but you're not really retaining anything. So it's really just kind of like a waste of time, which a waste of time is not always a bad thing. It's just bad when it becomes a habit. So this is an obvious activity that I would say is effective rest would be reading. Reading is really good for your brain, but it is especially more important in this day and age where we struggle so much societally with retaining any information. A book will sort of help your brain that may be rotted from consuming so much TikTok and so much fast moving content, so much fast moving media. A book literally forces you to sit down and focus on one topic, which is really good for your brain. It's sort of picture it like you're exercising your brain a little bit and causing it to think critically. You're pausing a little in the book, thinking about what you just read. You're focused on the one topic, and then you're ready to move on to the next page. Giving yourself time to analyze the information, which can be very effective, and it's not very time consuming, or it can be as time consuming as you want it to be, but it's not very energy consuming is the word that I'm looking for. Like, you're not putting in a lot of effort to read. You're literally just chilling. You can do it on your bed and just rest and just read through your book. That is a very effective way to rest, and you'll feel replenished and you won't feel so tired. And you just do it until you're like, okay, I'm done reading this. And then you can maybe move on to a different activity. Believe it or not, napping is actually effective rest. And these activities are all things that, like, I would say I see it this way. If you don't see it this way, that's you. That's different. Like, whatever. I don't really care. This is my podcast, so I can say whatever the hell I want. But I would say napping is very effective because you're replenishing your body and you're giving it the rest that you need. I would say to be careful with napping, though, because then if you're napping all day, you're not going to be able to sleep. You lose sleep. Sleep is very important. But it is still an effective way to just replenish your body and allow it to rest. You're literally resting. You're literally closing your eyes. You're giving your brain a break from the world that we live in. And I took a nap today. It was awesome, y'all. And what I love doing with my naps, honestly, and this is so Aquarius of me, is I love setting intentions with them. Like, I really love just being like, this is the question that I have for my nap. This is what I'm asking. Let's see how this shows up in whatever dream that I have. And more times than not, I'll actually wake up feeling a lot better. Like, from this nap, I woke up, I did feel like I was in Narnia for a sec. But then I got out of bed and I was like, okay, we're like awake, we're aware. Now look, we're filming the pod. We got to film a TikTok and then we're going to make dinner. It's going to be a fabulous night. And all because I had that effective rest. Effective rest is supposed to help you instead of making you more anxious. I don't know how y'all feel, but when I'm consuming so much media, especially on TikTok, I get anxious because I'm like, what did I just see? What did I just watch? Like, trying to understand. You don't feel productive either. So then you have like that guilt of like procrastinating, even though like what is there to procrastinate? Like, I don't know. I think that that's where I guess like my academic trauma comes in, because it's just like the fact that sometimes I'll be thinking I have shit due and whole time I'm not even in school. Like, girl, you don't have any assignments. What are you talking about? We did our taxes, like we did everything. What's the problem, basically? So that's why I always say it's important to find effective rest, just so that it sort of mitigates that guilt if you're someone that also struggles with this. And yeah, reading is definitely a good way to do that. Naps are a great way. And also, I get iffy with journaling. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I think what I've learned over the years is that journaling is not for everybody, and that's okay. Journaling works for me, but not for every problem. It works for me when I have it as a regular practice that I do, and I can just like talk about something. But what I really like to do, and this podcast really helps, I like recording voice memos, and I like talking to the people that are closest to me about any issue that might arise in my life, just because there is an active human that is living and breathing and responding to what I have to say. When I'm writing it down on a piece of paper, I'm just writing it down on the paper, and it's like, well, the problem's still there, and then you see it in front of you. It's good for if you need to bring an issue to the surface or bring a conflict to the surface. But if you already know that the conflict exists, then it's definitely more effective to talk to someone, which is why I always stress that it is very important, even for you introverts. And coming from me, bitch, I have so much social anxiety. It really started like with COVID, but I think people often get really shocked by this just because my personality is like very loud and annoying, and like I make these huge statements. But at the end of the day, I am a very socially anxious person. I do not like to be in scenarios where there's a crowd of people that I do not know. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Unless I'm performing. Because when I'm performing, even when it's like my own original material, it is still a persona or a character. Like, it's not me. But if you put me, like, if you bring me to a party where I don't know a single fucking person, girl, no, that is hell on earth for me. Like, I don't like that shit. It's not my shit. It's not my thing. And some people thrive in places like that. But for me, I literally am like, if I don't know, like, at least one person at the function, girl, good fucking bye. 'Cause it's like, that's how I know it's anxiety, because I really don't know why. It's like my friends and my family are like, but you perform on stage and you're fine. And I'm like, but that's like a persona. Even when it's my music, it's still the persona, Lisette Serrano, the musician. It's not like Lisette Serrano, the person, Lisette Serrano that has these interests. Like once I'm good, I'm good. Like once I'm comfortable talking to people and everything, I'm fine. But like, for the most part, yeah, I don't like being in scenarios where I don't know a single person. It's really uncomfortable for me. But what I've been trying to do, honestly, as like exposure therapy, is seeing a friend a week. That's been really, really, really helpful for me. And I FaceTime my friends pretty often. I FaceTime my family every day. So at least I have it in those aspects, but that's easy. It's the being in person part that I'm trying to be better at. Work obviously is helpful because I'm going to a different school every day. So in there, I'm literally forced to associate myself with people that I don't know. But it's also like children, and like I love kids. So like I don't really mind being around kids, and like it sort of eases, I guess, the anxiety for when I have to talk to the adults at the school, you know? But seeing a friend a week, I think, is a really good form of self-care, because like regardless of how you feel about people, you do have to talk to them. You do have to, like, your body needs it, like, as a person. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to, sorry, I just got a message, so I was like, what just happened? But you do have to speak to people, and you do have to talk to people, obviously. So I think good exposure therapy is really just hanging out with one person a week. If you're an introvert like me, if you're someone and you love like hanging out with multiple different people, which I do love, but I am an Aquarius. I love my alone time. I really value it. I thrive in my alone time. I thrive when I don't have to talk to anybody. Like when I'm just like chilling, I'm living my life. I've literally made a podcast just so I could like, yes, I'm talking to y'all, but like really I'm by myself in my room. And it's like such a sight, you know? Like I love hanging out with myself. However, you can't do that for so long all the time as a person. It's not healthy, because then let's say you have issues in your life, and let's say you have to rant. Your journal might not be sufficient enough for you to go on a whole rant, okay? You might have to actually talk to a breathing person so they can give you advice and so they can respond. So I think being in person with people is really helpful. Like I'll go to like my friend's apartment, they'll come over, we'll get brunch, we'll do this or that. All those things are really effective, and they're really good for your mental health, because it's good to see people. In a perfect world, we would be able to just like be on our own, but we are people at the end of the day, and we were literally made to talk to other people and to hang out with other people. So doing that once a week has been good, and it's eased my anxiety. Like I still do have social anxiety around people that I do not know, but it's gotten better over time with like seeing people, you know what I mean? And it's just good hanging out with different people. You don't want to hang out with like the same person. Like you gotta have like a little circle, but not too big, because a big friend group also is like, coming from personal experience, big friend groups can be a little dangerous and iffy. And not only am I someone who used to be a part of a big friend group, I have a big ass family too. And the thing is that, yes, it is lovely to have a lot of people that care about you, especially coming from a big family. The issue, however, is that when you have a big family, people are going to talk shit regardless about each other. Different family members got different drama. There's certain members of the family that I don't really fuck with, that I don't really talk to. And it's because it's so big. Like that is just the reality of having a huge family, is like they're going to talk shit. Distant cousins, they're going to talk shit. Your funky aunt, your funky uncle, like they're going to be weird. People are going to be weird. You know what I mean? And it's like that's just the reality of it. So having grown up, my parents honestly did like a pretty good job with not bringing me and my sister into our family drama, really. Like we just sort of, my parents really like and I'm glad they did this. They really minded their own business growing up, and in turn caused me and my sister to mind our own business and not really like get involved in drama in our adulthood. In high school, I did have a lot of drama, obviously. Like, if you went to my high school, y'all know everybody was fucking talking shit and just being all types of crazy. But I think because I had that foundation for seeing how my family really took the time to not get involved in drama in my childhood, and I didn't even know there was family drama like that, honestly, until I was like 18 years old, because my parents really made it a point to not bring us into that because they didn't want us to grow up with that drama, because it is a lot of it and it is really heavy and it's very personal, which is why I will never talk about it on this channel or just like on any social media or whatever. But we luckily didn't know any of this was going on, and it's crazy. My parents will tell me stories of things that happen at family parties and we had no clue. We would have never suspected because our parents tried extra hard to keep us away from the drama, which is why I think now in my adulthood I'm really good at setting my boundaries, and I'm really good at like just not really dealing with bullshit and like not just like doing, like, I don't even know how to say it in English. Like, yo ando en la mía is like what I mean. Without, I don't have to pay attention to what so-and-so is doing, who's talking about who, this and that and the third. Like, I already experienced it in high school, and I already know, like, the drama, I guess, of my family. Like, why would I bring that shit into my adulthood when I already have gone through it firsthand? There's no point. So I think I'm just very grateful that I had that. And I know the last episode I was really talking about how it's important to just be proud of like the way you grew up and where you're from, and just whatever lessons you learned, whatever silver lining you can find from the way that you grew up. I think literally it just does wonders, and it's really helpful. And like, you know, things I learned is how to set boundaries and how to not take nonsense. Like, we don't even take nonsense from like our own family, and we steer away from drama. Why would I take it from some random person? Like, or a guy, or like anyone for that matter. Like, there's no reason to, you know what I mean? And obviously, like, I've made mistakes and I've had bumps on the road, especially like relationship wise, just like getting into things too quickly. So I did still have to learn those lessons, but thankfully I learned them like relatively quicker. It only takes like, you know, a few big mistakes for me to be like, okay, so I had these mistakes happen. And then I have the experience with my family's drama. And then I have the experience from high school. Okay, let's maybe learn the lesson, leave the situation, and let's move on. Like, thankfully now I can like, and I think it's also just like a part of growing up too. Like, I think I'm sort of feeling myself mature a little bit. And in a different way, I think I've said this before, but this time I'm like, actually, I feel it. Like, I'm setting just boundaries. I would say like one of the things, the first thing I'm thinking of is like drinking. I like decided like we're not gonna drink to like the point where we're like drunk, basically. And not like blackout drunk, because I don't even like to get to that point regardless. But like, I don't even like want to get drunk. Like, there's no desire for me to anyone. I literally think that that's just like me seeing the type of person and like the type of mistakes that I make when I'm drunk. I'm like, not my shit, not my thing. Have a little glass of wine. I'll just chill, have fun. Because honestly, I do have more fun sober, oddly enough. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm more energetic when I'm sober. And like, usually when I'm sober, people think I'm drunk, and I'm like, no. I feel like alcohol sometimes just can bring up so much anxiety. Like, and that's just science, y'all. Like, that's how it's just me. Like, alcohol literally does make you extra emotional, extra anxious. Like, it's literally in its chemical pattern, you know? So I think that's why this year I'm really trying to steer clear from just drinking excessively when I'm out, or like just drinking excessively in general. And honestly, like since I've stopped, I felt a lot better. I felt a lot more energetic. I felt a lot just overall better. My skin like started to clear up. Like I started to lose some weight. Like it's just been, she's been slaying. But, you know, me setting boundaries like that, obviously, when we live in a world where it is very normalized and a lot of Americans do suffer with substance abuse, it is very normalized. Y'all have to understand, though, that my parents are Colombia. My parents are Colombian. No, just that my parents are Colombian. So y'all have to understand that in Colombia, you start drinking at age 12. And it's just like very normalized societally. So as a result of that, my parents have already like seen, you know, people suffering with substance abuse and everything. And it is very normalized in the US now. Like I feel like Latinos are just criticized heavily just for being drinkers, but it's like the Irish do that shit too. And like Americans honestly do that shit too. You know what I mean? So I think because of all of these things societally and how normalized they are, it's really hard to set up a boundary like that because people are like, you don't want to drink. Like, why not? Let's get lit. Let's get drunk. And it's like, when you see family members, no one in my immediate family, thank God, but when you see family members struggling with substance abuse and you see the negative effects of it and you yourself experience it, it becomes a lot less desirable. Like there's more important things, you know what I mean? And I don't want this to be like a judgment to anyone that is, you know, drinks like that or whatever. Like y'all do you. I'm not president. I don't know. I can't put a law or whatever. Like, but I'm just saying for me, when you grow up societally like that, or when you live in a society like that, it's hard to say no to shit like that. But honestly, like, I don't know, you get older and you just don't give a fuck. And it's like, you know, if anyone has any shit to say about any of the things that you're setting boundaries up about, then like that really says more about them. That really says more that they're projecting that shit onto you. That's not your problem. That's not your issue. So you don't really have to stress about it. And that's honestly a mindset that's been really helpful for me, is just understanding that a lot of the times when people react to you or say certain things to you that don't sit right with you, it's really them projecting. And it brings a lot of peace knowing that, honestly. Like, I honestly feel really at peace knowing that not everything someone says is literally like about me or even about you. Like, a lot of the times it's them projecting, so you just let them project, do their thing, whatever, mind your business, and you're good. And shit can't touch you once you learn that people are projecting. I'm just saying, it's really, really helpful. Like, I feel like that saved me a lot of pain, is knowing that and knowing what I have to heal within myself and not letting an outside person decide that for me. Like, I know me best. My family and close friends know me, so why do I have to stress about like random ass people? You know what I mean? And that mindset gets really helpful for social media because, as I mentioned in a previous episode, I was bullied like on social media and have been bullied on social media for like literally the past 10 years. So through that, you really have to learn to grow thick skin and learn that people are projecting a majority of the time, and you don't really got to think about what so and so said or what she said or what he said or what they said. Like, just let everyone sit in their own thing, do their own thing, mind your business, and you're good. And it makes life a lot easier and a lot less serious, and it gives you more time to learn more about yourself, and you don't have to stress so much about what others are thinking. So I really hope that we enjoyed this episode of Aquarius Truly. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lisette Serrano. And subscribe to my YouTube, Lisette Serrano. Listen to my music, Lisette Serrano. Everything is Lisette Serrano. And I really cannot wait to talk to y'all next week. This is literally like one of my favorite activities and pastimes. So, yeah. Thank you for everything and for anyone that's listening. Love you.